Before this walk, I'm gonna get some protein. And as you can see, I really like this new idea using the bubble tea, whatever you call it, mixed with the oatmeal. It works really well. Heat it up for a minute, then add your bubble tea. Well, make sure the bubble tea is like defrosted. I like to squish up the toffee balls too, because it makes it more gelato like. It's like adding jello to your oatmeal. This is awesome. Strawberry oatmeal at its finest. The taste ain't too bad either. So we're gonna eat. Avoid any of the wildlife. Head to the store for 13 bucks. Maybe I could get, I'm thinking like a jug of milk and cereal. Maybe I'll have enough for that. It'll be good enough. Last me for a day so I get more food stamps and oof. The days when you start to run out of food, man, those are the crazy days. But good thing I did that, the White Castle mukbang yesterday. So that's what I was showing you all. I'll do a mukbang and I'll do a little bit of exercise. Oof. Now just need to add the topping and we're ready to go. Sucks around here. People, I think they're horribly smart. We'll call it horror smart. Because they'll wait till I'm sober. They don't mess with me when I'm high because they know it goes right over my head. They can't bother me while I'm high off my medicated weed. But when I'm sober, that's when they start to aggravate me. Ain't that crazy? They wait till I get sober and then that's when they choose to aggravate me. It's like you're asking to get punched in the face, you know? Whatever. That's a weird thing. They won't mess with me while I got my medication and I'm using it. But as soon as I run out, or who knows, maybe they are messing with me and I just don't realize it so much to a point while I'm high, It's just like behind me. And next thing I know, I once I have to get more medicine, it's like, oof, is this what I've been living with? You know what I'm saying? It could be like that, but I doubt it. I feel like it's more like, they wait till I become sober, and then they pester me, and then it sucks because that kind of pushes me toward becoming medicated. It's not all the time. It's in the past. It was not like. Sometimes it was my choice. A lot of the times it was my choice. But when it comes down to it, a lot more of the time, it was their choice for me to be medicated. You see, when I'm sober, they like to pester me till, make me feel crazy. It sucks that I gotta deal with that, don't it? Yeah. Just one of the things, it's best to know. It's best to know what you gotta put up and deal with, because if you don't, you might end up down a path that you don't want to be down and that you might not be able to come back from. So I feel like it's best to know your enemies. Ugh, it sucks to call them that, but man, my life is crazy. I'm gonna have me a smoke. Sadly, not a toke, just a smoke. Throw this in the freezer, let it cool off, and then yeah, I'm gonna eat that and go on my walk. My brutal breakfast goes out to the 3 bands on tour right now: Death Clock, Necro Goblikin, and Dragon Force. Yeah. Good luck on your tour and have fun with rock and roll. Or metal, whatever. We're off to see the Wizard of Oz. I always think of that when I'm about to leave the house. I swear to God. I can't see anything. I'm gonna turn up the brightness. It's pretty cool. Every time I go out for my walks, it's always a nice day. And the funny thing is, it's like the days I go out for my walks, it's like the only nice day, not the only nice day of the week, but it's like the final nice day of the week. And it's funny because, like, I planned to go out for this walk yesterday, got lazy, right? Yesterday it was a lot nicer than today. Not a lot nicer, but just the sun was out. It was the same type of weather, but the sun was out. That's the only difference. maybe a little bit warmer if anything because of the sun. So, but tomorrow and the rest of the week, right now it's Wednesday, so for the rest of the week, it ain't gonna be this good. It's gonna be more cold. It might even be raining some days. So I gotta get my walk done now. It's now or never, right? Then again, I remember when there's a time where I basically pulled my back so badly, and I had to push myself to get exercise because I was starting to get like bed sores on top of having a pulled back. It was horrible, honestly. It was like, I was like, dang, I'm not getting better. Like, I don't think I will be getting better if I just sit around and wait for it to get better. So I started walking, and of course that made the bed sores go away right away, instantly. But that walk, man, oh, that was probably the most treacherous walks I've ever had. When I walked with that pulled back, I walked far too, and I thought it was funny through the whole walk. The only thing that kept me going was I kept telling myself was the only thing that really kept me going was I kept telling myself, like, after this walk I'm gonna feel a lot better. After this walk I'm gonna have no more back pain at all as soon as I get home. All right, kept telling myself that. By the end of the walk, I was walking to my friend's house because he lived the closest at the part where I was at. And I just couldn't walk anymore. That's how bad it got. Like, I just couldn't walk anymore. Luckily, he was home, so he let me chill for a bit there before I continued my walk home. And, well, that was the day I learned that I had a limit to my medicine of smoke. I actually sat there and smoked and smoked and smoked. And finally I came to a point where it's like, whoa, I don't think I should be smoking anymore right now. I never got to that point other than that one time. I did try to get to it again a second time, but I got to it, it's just it wasn't the same. Because, one, it takes a lot of money to get to that point. Like, basically, for me, $70 worth. Once I smoke worth of $70 worth of medicine smoke, you all know what I'm talking about. Then that's when it's like, that's my tap out part right there. That's where I start wanting to tap out. I don't have to tap out. I don't pass out. I just, I get that feeling where it's like my body doesn't want to do it anymore. At least at that time. Luckily, my friend I went over their house to, they had enough to let me try that. And the thing was, it's not funny thing, but the nice thing was, my friend was like, give me all the smoke because, like, I didn't pay anything for it, honestly. But he saw that I was in so much pain, and then he didn't know what else to do. That's just what it came down to. He's like, I have this. You think this will work? And I was like, I don't know, let's try. And we started packing up and smoking. But yeah, afterwards, it didn't help. I was just super blazed. Like, I was blazed to a point where I was like, oh man, I gotta walk back now. I'm not even walking anymore, I'm floating at this point. But I still feel the pain a little bit. But the thing was, it was just a little bit. It wasn't there like when I got there. So I walked home with a smile. It was crazy how that walk went. That was one of my torturous walks. Even though it had a good ending, that beginning was just so painful. Man, that made the story right there. Just that beginning part. The ending I could care less for. And the ending's like, the best part of the story. I was invited in by one of my friends. We smoked up until the pain went away, and I went on my way. Oof. I think it would have been a lot better, though, if I didn't have that back pain. But then again, I wouldn't have got all that smoke to smoked in that one sitting if I wasn't in pain, you know? So, it's like a curse turned into a blessing, right? Or something like that. But, yeah, that's how it works around here, oddly. Now, even though you see me doing mukbangs, I want to put out there that, like, how dangerous food addiction can actually be. It's really highly addictive when it comes down to it, and all it takes is 2 mukbangs. You do 2 mukbangs, you'll find yourself addicted to food. With my addictive personality, all it took for me was like getting prepared for a mukbang to get addicted to food. So yeah, be cautious when you want to, try to take on a mukbang of yourself for yourself. Like, keep in mind how addictive it's going to be, and have plans, like, make sure you have a plan for like some way you can exercise a day after the mukbang, or something that to help you so you could realize you don't need to be eating food all the time, basically, because food addiction is a serious problem. It really is. Like right now, I'm walking over here to CVS, and across the street is a McDonald's. Even though I plan to just get a Sprite, something to drink until my food stamps get here tomorrow, I'm thinking about heading over to McDonald's and doing like a $20 mukbang already, another mukbang. And that's because I done one a couple days ago. It's weird. It's like now, when you start to get the food addiction, you'll realize this is the best way to tell if you got the food addiction or not. Can you eat like a dog? Once you realize you can start eating like a dog, that's when you have to start realizing you might have a problem with food. See, I'll get to that point where it's like, if I'm not careful, I could be eating as much as I can, eventually. Basically, what I mean is like eating like a dog. And bam, there goes my health. So always keep that in mind of how dangerous food addiction could be if you're going to be planning on trying to mukbang for yourself. Just in case. Because it happens so quickly, and you don't even hear it at first. It's something that happens, but you don't realize it happening until it's too late. It's one of those things. It really is. And then next thing you realize, you'll be so hungry, you'll start imagining the food talking to you in a way. That's how you know it got really bad too. And a lot of addictions end up like this, really. It's just, to me, in my personal experience, I've seen food addiction being a very strong addiction when you really get into it. It's like, and it happens so quickly. I'm glad I got fast metabolism, because if I didn't, there'd be no doubt I'd weigh around at least 200 pounds. There'd be no doubt. I'd bet on that. But yeah, and people might think, oh, once I see myself gaining the weight, I'll realize, I got a food problem. It's not that simple, honestly. You might gain the weight and realize it later. It's like, by the time you realize you're gaining the weight, that's way after the fact that you should, the thing is you should realize you got food addiction before you realize you're gaining weight. I think that's the best solution to that. Like I wouldn't take a look at my weight and be like, oh, I got food addiction. Oh man, I think I can pass. I think so. Almost died. Psych. But yeah, when it come down to it, like you should realize, you gotta realize that I think the best way to do it to fight food addiction is this: realizing it happens before it happens. Kind of like a crime preventive thing in a way, but with food in yourself. Oof, because if you don't, food is one deadly drug. I'll tell you that. That's what I learned from my personal experience. Compared to all the other drugs out there, and I'm talking about, even sugar being a drug. Of all the drugs out there, food just seems to be like the most deadliest to me. Even to me, like people with fast metabolisms don't take that as, oh, you got like a card that allows you to eat as much as you want when you want. Don't think of it like that, because even though you're not storing the fat like others would with a slow metabolism, you still got to think about your organs. Your organs could be storing the fat, and next thing you know, you could have a heart that's best fit for like a person with 150 pounds. No, that's too less. With like 170, no, that's still too less. Okay, we'll say this. A person, what could end up happening is basically your heart could enlarge, is what I'm trying to say. You might not be storing the fat, in your places where you would store fat at, but you always got to keep in mind that all that fat, all that saturated, all that stuff, it's going to be stored somewhere. Even if you got fast metabolism, all that stuff is going to be stored somewhere. So don't think you got some kind of superpower or superpower tapeworm, whatever. You gotta always keep in mind that you can as well get diabetes, end up in a food coma. You gotta keep that in mind. And that's dangerous when it comes to food addiction. Once it gets a hold of you, ends up being one of those things that get you out of it. It's usually not all the own people with it that get themselves out. It usually takes something really dramatic that happened to them because of the food addiction in order to make them stop. Anyways, I just want to put that out there, because I've been doing mukbangs lately, and I don't want people to get addicted to food because of my content. I want people to know that I'm doing this in a safe way, in other words. I tapped. Had to get me an Oreo, 2 Oreos, and some soft baked cookies. Some I like. Cheers. I love Reese's. I really do. I liked them more when I was a kid. Now, I don't know. It doesn't taste as sugary as it once did when I was younger. Yeah. I feel like Reese's had a different flavor when I was growing up. Like more of a milk chocolate taste. Right now, they taste like regular chocolate. Basically, as plain as chocolate gets, let's be honest. But it used to be like where you could taste the milk chocolate. It was sweet chocolate, basically, very sweet chocolate. And then the peanut butter tasted different too to me. Like before, it tasted like it was more sweet, and I don't know how to describe it, but it was more soft. I don't know. I feel like they changed it. Of course they changed it. Some people working on the railroad, laughing it up. Oof. Man. I wish I had a union job, but my body, it'd be stupid to put me on a job with heavy machinery. It really would. There'd be no point. Oof. Sucks. You know. I could have laughed back. I could have. Because they're working hourly when it comes down to it. That's one thing I'll never get out of this world. A job that pays hourly. I did used to have one, but I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. The people that work those hourly jobs and try and make a living out of it, man, most of them, not all of them, but most of them, they're annoying. It's just like kids in high school. It really is. I could not stand an hourly job at the factory. And then the boss was no better than the workers. In fact, the boss acted more kid-like than the workers. It blew my mind. And the only reason why he was doing that was because he was trying to relate with his workers, you know, trying to be buddy-buddy with his workers. I'm like, dude, like, what kind of work establishment is this when you work hourly? No one really cares about their job, it seems like. And everyone's just messing about. Really. Because, you know, they even tell you, they told me at least, around here, they're like, just do whatever. You know, when you're on the clock, do whatever. As long as do your job, but take your time while doing it. You know, even if you finish your job early, which I did a lot of the time, all the time. It's easy work. I mean, honestly, if they didn't have it working